A very good evening to you. I am Ryan Broom with the Friday, October 27th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, there has been an outbreak of conjunctivitis, more commonly known as red eyes, on Ward C2 at the St. Philip District Hospital. As a result, the Ministry of Health is advising the public that visits will not be allowed. It says visits will resume once the situation is resolved. Relatives of patients on Ward C2 are asked to call the district hospital to make arrangements for the delivery of clothes or other items. Additionally, the ministry is urging visitors with relatives on other wards not to wander onto the other wards. Members of the public who are experiencing red eyes are also asked not to go to the institution. They are also reminded to practice good hygiene, including washing their hands before and after visits to the hospital. Management of the St. Philip District Hospital has indicated that steps are being taken to treat those patients who have been affected and to ensure that proper hygiene practices are followed by staff and patients. And the blueprint of Barbados is made up of the work of the Democratic Labour Party. This belief was hammered home by Government Senator Jepta Ince during his delivery of today's Astor B. Watts DLP lunchtime lecture at the party's George Street headquarters. In his presentation, he said successful projects of the DLP, like free secondary education, free school meals, the construction of the Hilton Hotel, the establishment of the Polytechnic and Palm Marine, and the island's healthcare system, make Barbados what it is today. However, above all, he believes the greatest work of the party to date is the establishment of the National Insurance Scheme in 1967.
It touched every life, every major industry, every household, and even up today, when you look at what the National Insurance has accomplished, it touches every possible area in Barbados. It touches government for development. When we look at the sickness benefits, think about it. What would have happened if we did not have a national insurance scheme and persons in Barbados retired without any income? Well, think about it.
And he says he's more than confident that the ruling Democratic Labour Party will be returned to power.
I have said it over and over again without fear and trembling. The people of Barbados are going to make a decision on who is better able to lead this country. And I am confident that when the comparative analysis is done, that they're going to come down on the side of the Democratic Labour Party and Ferdinand Jerome Stewart. Confident. We have a case to put. And we have done well.
Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, says more work is needed to mitigate the effects of climate change in the region. This is necessary, she says, as hurricanes have caused millions of dollars in losses this year.
It is abundantly clear that from a climate change perspective, urgent attention must be given to the implementation and enforcement of adaptation policies, such as appropriate land use, a revision of building codes where appropriate, retrofitting of buildings to improve hazard standards, including the construction of hurricane-resistant housing, coastal and shoreline defense mechanisms, water management, and new approaches to sustainable development.
The PAHO director believes greater efforts should be made to ensure utilities and communications are not severely disrupted by the passage of weather systems.
We must consider what should be done differently and in advance to better manage or overcome the negative impacts resulting from interruptions in communication, electricity, and the availability of drinking water. It's not okay in this 21st century that you can't hear from a country for days after a disaster and up to weeks after a disaster, that the communication is so poor within the country and between the country and the world outside.
Education Minister Ronald Jones has appealed to parents to be good role models for their children. He was speaking during the 10th anniversary celebration church service for the Olga Miller Nursery. The service was held at the school in Farm Garden, 6 Road, St. Philip. Minister Jones told the parents in the audience to be the ones their children look to for the best examples of what is needed to shape people of good character.
Lead by good example. Do not allow others to provide the examples that you should provide. Don't allow the community to give them the examples. Don't allow the block to give them the examples. Don't allow the fellow who walks the street inhaling whatever, to be their examples. You be the examples for your children and give them the best examples that you can possibly give.
We take a pause here, but we'll have more news after the break.
Upgrade to Digicel's Quick Pick Bundles. Save big on data. Get data and get unlimited WhatsApp messaging and Digicel Talk. Pick a 1-day bundle, a 7-day bundle, or for the best value, a 30-day bundle. Save money every single day. Pick the bundle that's right for you. Go to My Digicel app or dial *246 to buy a Quick Pick bundle today. Digicel.
Help support the restoration efforts for the hundreds of thousands affected by catastrophic hurricanes. Donate to the Red Cross Hurricane Relief account at any branch of the following: CIBC First Caribbean, account number 10011633436. First Citizens, 500-900-00588. RBC Royal Bank, 210-05073, and Republic Bank, 01804-153-1001. Monies raised will be sent to the International Red Cross for its restoration work for affected persons. Appeal closes 30th November 2017. Persons wishing to post checks should make these out to Red Cross Hurricane Relief Appeal Account and post to Barbados Red Cross Society, P.O. Box 300 Bridgetown, or hand delivered to the Red Cross Warrens Headquarters. The Barbados Red Cross and commercial banks, on behalf of the victims of catastrophic hurricanes, thank all persons and businesses for their contributions.
Bye, Dad.
Tell me the names of the bombers.
I work for the government, not terrorists.
Lie. You used to work for them. He's trained. Maybe Special Forces. Tell me who killed my child.
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
Do you?
Somebody say a prayer for
The Foreigner.
Second big week. Olympus Cinemas.
Tonight on CBC Presents, we turn our attention to the Workplace Sexual Harassment Prevention Bill. Get to know your rights. Call us at 228-5562 or 228-5563 or send your emails to talk@cbc.bb. That's tonight on CBC Presents.
Welcome back. Well, ticket sales for the upcoming NIFCA Performing Arts Finals are holding steady, and the National Cultural Foundation is expecting a spectacular 4 days of performances. The finals come off at the Major Newt Hall at Combermere School from November 10th to 13th. A corporate communication specialist with the National Cultural Foundation, Simone Codrington, says traditionally tickets to the junior and dance nights go quickly and are followed by theatre and music.
Of the finalists in the junior category, there will be 7 each from dance and theatre and 5 from music, representing schools, community groups, and individuals. Also, a number of the familiar and popular groups will be on stage for the dance final in different genres, from contemporary to Latin ballroom, urban street, and of course the Caribbean folk. If you were at the semi-finals, you would know that for the first time we had an aerial silk performance on stage, and that will also be among the pieces being adjudged for the finals.
In music, 19 non-professionals performing 26 songs and 2 semi-professionals performing 3 songs will be in play for the medals and special awards available in this discipline. There were 27 original entries this year, and of that number, 8 have advanced the music final night and will be vying for the Jackie Opal Incentive Award. Theatre night will be diverse with short forms and long forms of drama and speech, dealing with a wide range of topics. 11 acts in the drama and speech lineup include 2 full-length plays and 2 short plays. 3 of the 4 theatre entries from Her Majesty's Prison Dodds have made it to the finals. And 195 young people have been inducted into the Barbados Labour Party's Junior League. The young people between the ages of 11 and 16 have been recruited to sustain the legacy of the party. Speaking during the induction ceremony at the Queen's Park Steel Shed last night, BLP stalwart Sir Richard Cheltenham told the young people that they are now part of one of the greatest political and social institutions in Barbados.
Every generation must renew their commitment to these broad objectives which I have identified. And you young people must take up the mantle of our founding fathers and continue their work. As I said earlier, every generation struggles anew to improve and keep up access to fundamental rights. And make no mistake about it, education, housing, and health are fundamental rights.
And opposition leader Mia Motley told the young people that politics means nothing if they don't care about people. She encouraged them to acquire as much knowledge as possible and to keep reading.
Never stop reading. Never stop reading. Reading is the basis of your empowerment. Reading is the first step towards the thinking that you must do to liberate your minds. And when you liberate your mind, nobody can enslave you. Nobody can tell you to do wrong things because you know wrong from right. You can reason. So I want you always to promise me to read.
In other news, although she has caught the top prize in the 3D visual arts category in this year's CSEC exams, Narissa Niles does not intend to pursue art full-time at the moment. In fact, she wants to be a nurse. CBC caught up with a 16-year-old Grantley Adams Memorial student who made her family, school, and country proud.
This is the piece that won Narissa Niles the top prize for three-dimensional art in this year's CSEC Visual Arts examinations. It's her depiction of a female mask, commonly worn by the Punu people from Central Africa. Made from a combination of several natural materials such as seeds, burlap, leather, and coconut trimmings, Narissa admits it was not an easy task to create, and she often attended extra lessons.
If I didn't do the practice piece well, I had to go home and do it over again till I get it right. And we had to stop every evening after school. We had lessons. We couldn't go nowhere else. We had to come lesson. Miss Elliot or Miss Holder will come and find us.
However, that hard work has paid off, and the teenager is pleased with her results.
I feel great and excited. I was shocked at first because I didn't know they'd do that good. But I feel great.
Her current and former teachers have all praised her positive work ethic.
The success story, or the journey to the success story, it did not start at the day of the CXC, but that journey started way back, and it was the discipline of Narissa, it was her attitude that the success story can now be spoken.
I know in whatever area she decides to go in, she would do her best because she's very dedicated. She's an exceptional child, and she will go far.
Principal of Grantley Adams Memorial, Valdez Francis, hopes Narissa will be an inspiration to her peers.
Narissa can be our poster person. She can be the champion going forward for us in showing her colleagues and her peers, and help to pull forward some of them who may be a little bit slacking when they're going forward with the SBA. I would want her to be of great encouragement to them, to let them know that their work can be rewarded, and it can be rewarded on a worldwide scale, as she is now being rewarded on a worldwide scale.
Following her recent success, she has offered some advice to other students.
I would say try hard and don't give up. Never give up, because art will make you want to give up.
17 students from that school completed the CXC Visual Arts exam. 3 of them also got grade 1s in that subject. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Well, thanks, Rianne. We'll be taking another break here, but still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region.
How does Omega XL reduce inflammation?
Omega XL is very effective at controlling pain associated with inflammation.
The studies show great results time and time again
for people with joint pain.
If you walk around with pain, it's creating damage. Your blood vessels, your kidneys, possibly your brain.
Fight back. Get rid of pain and inflammation with Omega XL.
Get your Omega XL today. Live long, stay strong with Omega XL.
It started with my love for making things. That became a business. And when I wanted to expand, I chose a partner that could help me build on my vision. A partner that made growing my business easier with fewer steps. That's banking that starts with me.
It starts with you. Scotiabank.
Do you want audience numbers? Over 140,000 people are watching Morning Barbados and the evening news. 6 out of 10 top radio personalities are found right here at the CBC. CBC delivers the audience you need.
News from the region tonight. In St. Lucia, there is still no integrity commission, and the Alan Chastanet administration continues to be called upon to explain why the commission is not yet functioning.
This question has been raised on a number of occasions recently, amid controversies plaguing the Alan Chastanet administration. In particular, this question references the absence of an integrity commission tasked with ensuring that legislators and other senior public servants perform their duties to the society with honesty and integrity. In July, during a press conference at the office of the Leader of the Opposition, we posed the question to Castries East MP Philip J. Pierre as to whether he had filed his declarations to the Commission. Pierre indicated that the last time he filed was for the period 2015 to 2016. He claimed that the Integrity Commission had not been appointed as yet and therefore did not see the need to file. A visit to the UNR House offices on July 10th did confirm that the Commission was not appointed. The question was nonetheless posed to the Castries East MP once again, 3 months later at another press conference held on Tuesday.
I've answered the same question before. I have submitted my report to the Integrity Commission for the last time that the Integrity Commission has sat, and I've got a clean report.
So
I am ready. As soon as an Integrity Commission comes into being, my report will be there in 14 days.
It must be noted that according to the Integrity in Public Life Act, which governs the operations of the body, commission or not, declarations must be filed every year. However, in the absence of a commission, these files reach no further than the Secretary's desk. We visited the office of the Integrity Commission immediately after the press conference to find that things have not changed since we last visited. The office still consists of a secretary, office assistant, and a research officer, but no chairman or commission members. The 5-member commission is appointed by the Governor General on the advice of the Prime Minister in consultation with the Leader of the Opposition. The 3-year term of the last commission, chaired by Deacon Winston Taylor, ended on March 31st, 2016, and to date, there has been no word as to when an appointment is to be made.
In Trinidad and Tobago, mere days after he resigned from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, Dave Williams is breaking his silence about what caused him to sever ties with the agency. The former agency's head says he could not function in the post if the Prime Minister had lost confidence in him.
The system didn't perform as well as we expected it to.
It wasn't the flood of criticism from members of the public that prompted Dave Williams' departure from the ODPM. It was instead the loss of the Prime Minister's confidence that made him pen his resignation letter. In the 3-page letter sent to National Security Minister Edmund Dillon, the retired colonel referred to Dr. Rowley's comments about staffing at the Disaster Management Agency. According to him, quote, "I concluded that I, at least, did not have his confidence and should make way for someone who will be deemed better suited to lead the ODPM," end quote. Williams was lynched for his small thing comment at a news conference last Friday when the ODPM finally addressed the nation about the devastating flooding. But he sought to explain the context in which he said it. According to him, it was in response to a media question about the failure to activate the National Emergency Operations Center in light of such a, quote, big event. He says he replied not out of a lack of empathy for affected citizens, but simply to explain that this country is highly vulnerable to much more intense hazards. In offering his sincerest apologies, Williams writes that he regrets his failure to fully understand where the reporter was coming from, therefore appearing to underappreciate citizens' suffering. For the record, he says the NEOC was activated on a virtual level and they were communicating via telephone. Williams also seeks to clarify that the role of the ODPM is a coordinating agency and not a first responder, and therefore the expectation that it will be on the scene, he says, is unfortunate.
In Bermuda, Premier David Burt says the country's first advisory group has been re-established with the aim of developing a long-term economic and social vision for the island, which is weighed down by a bulging US $2.4 billion national debt. Philip Butterfield, former Chief Executive Officer of banking giant HSBC Bermuda, will chair the group, whose members include 82-year-old former Premier Sir John Swan and union boss Chris Ferbert. The reforming of Bermuda First was one of the 21 steps the Progressive Labour Party, or PLP, had pledged to execute during its first 100 days in power. The party observed the 100 days in office yesterday, and Burt said Parliament would hear on November 3rd about the progress of 21 initiatives that were laid out in the party's 2017 election platform. And Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, is today lashing back at critics over his frequent overseas travels. This after he returned to the country after attending the 4th CARICOM Mexico Summit in Belize. The Prime Minister says he will travel as often as is required to discharge his duties as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. This comes after Princess Town Member of Parliament Barry Padrath raised concern that the Prime Minister was traveling at a time when thousands of citizens were being impacted by massive floods throughout the country. Dr. Rowley also dismissed claims that he had been celebrating his birthday overseas on October 24th. Well, sports news is coming up, but first, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
The breast screening program is a one-stop clinic offering mammograms, ultrasounds, biopsies, and minor breast surgeries. This tip is brought to you in association with the Barbados Cancer Society Breast Screening Program, celebrating its 15th anniversary.